Hello, my name is Thomas Albuquerque. I would like to thank Dr. Claudia Azevedo for the invitation to participate in this PROGECT Network Symposium. This paper is outcome of the research I developed for my master's thesis at Catarina State University from 2018 to 2020, under the supervision of Professor Dr. Guilherme Sauerbrunn. When talking about progressive rock, there are many issues to be taken into consideration regarding compositional procedures and its historical and social context, what led this kind of music to manifest itself in different ways in various countries. My work is about Terreno Baldio, band formed in São Paulo, 1973, whose name can be translated as empty lot. It was born from two bands, Fush, in which guitarist Mozart Mello and the bassist João Ascensão played, and the Islanders, from which keyboardist Roberto Lazzarini and vocalist João Kurk left. Many Brazilian progressive rock bands displayed a strong reference from the Tropicalia movement. However, Terreno Baldio was mostly influenced by English bands such as King Crimson, Genesis, Yes, and especially Gentle Giant, considered by the band members themselves to their biggest reference. There was a quest to reproduce the European sound of these bands, even with the scarcity of resource instruments, equipment in general, and traditional European music training. In order to find a link between the progressive rock made in Brazil and the progressive rock from England, considering that there is a romantic ideal in this musical poetics and in the countercultural rock contest of late 1960s and mid 1970s, especially the counterculture that was formed in Brazil that expressed disaffection against the military dictatorship that was in force of those years. I based myself on the concept of spleen, a countercultural manifestation of the 19th century present, especially in the poetry of Baudelaire and Rimbaud. Regarding counterculture as an anti-conformist and anti-establishment movement, it is possible to connect this spirit to the romantic ideal of spleen in its pessimistic and melancholic view to the world. However, unlike depression, which contains in itself a death drive, spleen is largely life-driven, an ideal that contemplates the ephemeral pleasures and the incessant search for them, assuming that there is no way to change the world, the cruelty of the world. So all that is left is enjoy to the pleasures that life gives us while we are alive. Benjamin says, Baudelaire is not pessimist. He's not, because there is no taboo concerning the future. In him, one does not find any kind of reflection in relation to the future of bourgeoisie society. Lazzarini, in an exclusive interview, said to me, we had always lived in São Paulo, but we felt an oppression, right? We also felt oppressed by the political movement we're living. We didn't want to fight with guns against the political movement, but we felt the oppression in our flesh. Then the dreamlike vision of progressive rock of that time. To illustrate this romantic ideal in the work of Terreno Baldio and the band's relationship with European references, I have selected the song Grite, can be translated Scream. It's the last track of the band eponymous first album, released in 1976. This album came from songs were part of two conceptual shows. Pássaro Azul can be translated Bluebird and Aquelo. This album came from songs Now, these songs formed a concept of the album, the metaphor of the bluebird, a young man with vigor and desire to know the world, and gets frustrated with the cruel adult life and finds refuge in an empty lot, a wasteland, a place where he can dump all evil and all daily anguish. This album was re-recorded in English in 1993, 70 years after the band broke up. Let's hear this song. The thematic session that makes up a cycle of 11 bars presents a quadrature displacement, a figure that can insinuate that something is wrong, something that tries to fit into a pattern, but can't. Such a cycle doesn't sound unsettling to the listener. The counterpoint of two voices reminds of one festive song, a waltz evoking an ancient and distant, resonance and fantastic imaginary, an imaginary often approached in certain songs of the European progressive rock repertoire. The melodic material developed in this counterpoint comprises the harmonic E minor scale in the first phrase from bar 1 to bar 4. In bars 5 and 6, there is presence of the Lydian mode. In the fifth bar, when the F natural note appears in the bass, the flat 2 is present, exploring the F Lydian scales in a step degree from the first degree, F in the bass from the third degree, A in treble resulting in parallel thirds that run the entire scale with the exception of the seventh degree. The Lydian mode presented in sixth bar is on B flat, C Lydian, starting from the note D, descending to the note C, which rises in the step degree until the note G in bar 7. The final phrase occupies the remaining 5 bars, exploring the E minor scale. Observing the harmony of the introduction in the first 4 bars, there is a progression. E minor, F sharp diminished, A minor, E minor with the third on bass, G. Functionally, such chords perform the functions of tonic, dominant, subdominant, and tonic. The F sharp diminished chord in at the same time the second degree of harmonic field of E minor, and functionally as dominant carrying the tritone of the B7 chord, taken into account in harmony with the G flat diminished chord. Fifth degree of the harmonic field of E minor. The resolution of this chord interpolated by the AM chord, fourth degree of the harmonic field, thus generating a plagal cadence. From the fifth bar, the harmony distance itself presents in the F chord, flat 2 of E minor, followed by C chord, flat 6 of the same tonal center. Submediant chord after the C chord, we have a return to the tonic E minor. Now is the second inversion, E minor / B, followed by the fourth minor, A minor, which returns to the tonic E minor, this time in the first inversion. To finish the progression, again, the flat 2 chord, F, is employed exercising the subdominant function to finally reach the dominant B7, concluding the suspense cadence that announces the cyclic return. In the same C chord, sequence of descending basses begin, extending until the 10th bar, forming the sequence C, B, A, G, F. After this introduction, we have a melody, main melody, with the lyrics. These lyrics are literally translation. It's not the version of the 90s album. And you think that moment living is harder than dying. As you walk, no one's talk to you. The loneliness comes to everyone. You may feel crushed, but in the city there's a place. You see, the place there's garden, what left of peace. We recognize such location in the space for transcendence, refuge, where the oppression of the daily can be purged. The death drive evoked in the first verses of the Sun, and you think that moments living is harder than dying, suggests the disaffection of monotonous daily life, where the vicious circles of life longer brings meaning to life. A direct reference to spleen. These feelings of powerlessness, and insignificance that subjugate the human psyche and evoked by the oppression of great metropolis. In this specific case, the city of São Paulo, the largest and heavily industrialized city in Brazil. Like the flaneur in the Parisian galleries, young inhabitant of São Paulo is depressed in the midst of the crowd. Observe the set. While walking, no one talks to you. Loneliness comes to everyone. The accelerated life of the big city, where each individual follows his or her course in a hurry and with fear, portrays a crowd of lonely people, invisible, at the same time blind in relation to one another. This is subjective, is an ensembling line. Both stanzas are sung on the harmony, the absence of squareness, the odd number of bars, this time 9, in the search for fitting into a pattern which not square, not conservative, not even. In the introduction, the dominant chord appears only in the last bar. In the second verse of the song, it's a breath of hope amidst despair. It may be you feel crushed, but in the city there's a place. You'll see the land there is, guarding what left of peace. In the scat Spleen, this overwhelming feeling finds the antidote in this empty place, full of peace. Such a place is allocated in the innermost of each individual. The metaphorical research of the city is confused with that subject itself. Where is the height from? What is magical ground that protects freedom and transcendence? The Grite lands of peace, the concept of empty lot, it's polysemy. At the same time that carries a meaning of emptiness, of unhabitated linked to existential emptiness, also carries the meaning of fertile soil, ready for sowing. The land that is yours alone, and that will be inhabited by only you or by wherever you allow to enter. The lyrical subject, perhaps ever inclined to commit suicide, carries the weight of various symptoms acquired throughout life. This life in a state of alert because there is no peace in the city, while the Grite fights for the substance with no perspective of a happy future. The subject, emboldened the flaneur, has already identified the chaos and is taken by a vertigo. His emotional outlet in this comfortableness, which could be an allusion to the psychedelic experience. Psychedelia, by the way, It's a pivot of Spleen connecting Baudelaire and the beatniks and hippies. The pre-chorus sang in incisive, violent ways such as hope. In the empty lot, you're allowed to scream, scream. In this section, the time signature becomes 4/4, and there are 4 bars with single weak power chords. Pre-chorus of scream, voice and guitar. After 2 repetitions of this session, we finally arrive in the chorus. In the empty lot, you're allowed to scream. In the empty lot, you're allowed to run. In the empty lot, you're allowed to leave. Upon finding this environment of liberation, Jean-Claude delicately sings over the harmony in this fugue. But in the last 2 repetitions, melancholy and dramaticity of interpretation are intensified by the doubling of guitar and bass, while the synthesizer plays the harmony. This coda is only moment in which the chorus presents the phrases, in empty lot, you're allowed to grow. In the empty lot, you're allowed to die. Such an existential crazy soul for transcendence through art, the vertigo of the city of São Paulo can be healed in this empty lot. The land is empty, and it is up each individual to build his refuge, his landscape, getting right for all that bad, and renewing his vitality, to face hostility of everyday life. There is not unconfounded pessimism, but a reflection of human relations, repression, conservatism, and the cynism of capital and capital. To live in peace, amidst this scenario, the answer of the hippie generation evoked transcendence through the psychedelic revolution, which unveils the fertile and beautiful grounds. Situating the song lyrics in the social context of this time, we see Spleen an approximation between the idea of the empty lot and the countercultural manifestations, along with the presence of well-crafted musical content. It shows how the band made their version of progressive rock within the conditions they had, without many resources. Thanks to everyone present and to the PROGECT Network. To learn more about the band and their songs, I invite you to read my master's thesis, Terreno Baldio, uma experiência progressiva brasileira. It's only available in Portuguese, but I believe it's worth the effort. And sorry for my broken English. Thank you very much.